Listen carefully to what I'm about to tell you. I'm not here to sugarcoat this. I'm here to give you real talk, like an older brother who wants you to win. Right now, you might be feeling completely anxious, embarrassed, and ignored. Someone has decided to treat you like you do not exist. When you try to practice your daily disciplines, or when you try to stand up, your confidence completely breaks. You look in the mirror and ask yourself, why am I not enough? Why did they choose someone else over me? Most people read Stoic philosophy for many years. They memorize beautiful quotes and study complex books. But when they face real-world rejection, or when someone ignores them, their mind completely freezes. They stop. Here is the truth. Your real problem is not the struggle itself. Your real problem is your mind. In this video, we are going to rebuild your confidence from scratch. We will build a mind of steel. We are going to explore the powerful, real-life stories of Epictetus and Socrates using very simple, clear language. You do not need to struggle with complex terms. You can listen, understand, and learn naturally while being inspired. Subscribe to this channel early. This is the place where you come to improve your mindset and character step by step. Now think for a moment. Why do you feel so incredibly happy when someone praises your progress? And why do you feel so deeply hurt, anxious, and embarrassed when someone ignores you or criticizes your choices? The real problem is that you are living as a voluntary slave to other people's opinions. You have tied your self-worth to their validation. When they smile and nod, you feel confident. When they look at you with cold indifference, your heart sinks and your confidence completely breaks. You are letting people who do not even care about you control your internal peace. By chasing their validation, you are handing the remote control of your emotions directly to complete strangers. Here is the real truth. Seeking validation from others is a form of voluntary mental slavery. Epictetus, the great Stoic philosopher who was born a physical slave, understood this secret perfectly. He taught his students that true freedom is the ability to ignore things that are outside your control. Other people's opinions belong entirely to the external world. You cannot control what they think. When you beg for their praise, you are handing them the complete keys to your mind. Real peace does not come from other people's approval. It comes from your own unshakable self-respect. Let me tell you a powerful story. Epictetus spent his early life as a slave in Rome. His master Epictetus was an extremely cruel and violent man. One day his master began twisting his leg. Epictetus did not scream. He did not cry. He calmly said, "If you continue, you will break my leg." The master kept twisting with all his strength until the bone snapped and his physical leg broke. Epictetus did not weep. He simply looked up and said, "Did I not tell you that you would break it?" We must understand the spotlight illusion, which is the imaginary fear of constant public daily social judgment. When you make a minor mistake in public, when you say the wrong thing, you believe everyone is watching. You go home and replay the mistake in your mind for hours, feeling a deep sense of unearned shame. But here is the real truth. Other people are not thinking about you nearly as much as you believe when you see someone else make a minor social mistake. Do you obsess over their flaw for days? Of course not. You forget about it in 3 seconds. The exact same is true for their memory of you. Everyone is completely consumed by their own internal wars, their own shallow, petty anxieties, and their own self-doubts. They do not have the time or energy to judge your life because they are too busy worrying. The spotlight you fear is entirely imaginary. Once you realize this, you can act with absolute unyielding freedom. Let us look at the inspiring and powerful story of Socrates, who was the great father of Western philosophy. He walked through the crowded markets, wearing old, dirty robes, barefoot, and with wild, completely untamed hair. The rich and powerful citizens of Athens laughed at him, mocked his appearance, and whispered insults behind his back. But Socrates did not care. He knew their laughter was a reflection of their own shallow material values. He continued to stand in the public squares, ask deep, difficult questions, and teach wisdom to everyone. He knew that the only approval that truly mattered was his own unyielding, lifelong commitment to absolute truth. We must confront the comfort prison, which is the slow, deadly poison of modern luxury. Modern society has trained your brain to expect immediate, effortless gratification without any physical or mental struggle. The moment a task feels boring, difficult, or uncomfortable, your primitive brain begs you to run away. But here is the real truth. An untested mind is a weak, incredibly fragile, and volatile mind. Seneca, who was one of the wealthiest advisors in Rome, warned us that comfort makes us soft. He advised us to intentionally choose difficult paths to build an unshakable, powerful, and highly resilient mind. When you intentionally choose the difficult path, when you study, when you are tired, you build mental calluses. You train your mind to tolerate friction, making you completely indestructible to unexpected, painful external setbacks. Let us look at the story of Seneca, who owned beautiful palaces and expensive, luxurious Roman furniture. But Seneca knew that constant comfort was a highly dangerous, addictive, and mentally paralyzing trap. Setting aside several days every single month, Seneca chose to leave all his great luxury behind. He wore a simple rough cloak, slept on the hard floor, and ate only basic bread. During these disciplined days, he would look at his life and ask, "Is this what I feared?" By voluntarily practicing discomfort, Seneca proved to his mind that he did not require luxury to exist. He destroyed his fear of poverty and became completely, absolutely independent of his external circumstances. We must discover the root of true, unshakable confidence, which is built entirely on internal self-respect. You believe you lack confidence because you do not have external wealth, perfect titles, or high social status. This is a profound psychological error. The real problem is that you break small promises to yourself every day. You say you will wake up early, but you hit snooze. You say you will study, but you scroll. Every single time you break a small promise, your subconscious mind records it, and your self-respect slowly dies. Epictetus taught that confidence is earned through the consistent, relentless execution of your small, private, daily disciplines. When you do exactly what you said you would do, you build an unshakable, powerful, and permanent inner fortress. Let us look at the inspiring story of Marcus Aurelius, who was the absolute, all-powerful emperor of ancient Rome. He had the wealth of empires, yet he struggled every morning to throw off his warm, comfortable blankets. But Marcus Aurelius chose personal accountability, writing in his journal that he must wake up to perform human duty. He immediately stood up and performed his imperial tasks with absolute, uncompromising, and highly structured military discipline. By keeping his daily promises to himself, he built a solid reputation of self-respect that could not be broken. Write down one tiny, non-negotiable promise for tomorrow, and keep it with absolute, flawless, and uncompromising execution. Stop seeking cheap validation from unpredictable external sources and start earning your own deep, unyielding internal self-respect. True self-esteem is the beautiful byproduct of keeping these small, daily, non-negotiable promises to your own mind. Slavery of comparison, which is the toxic mental poison of modern envy. You scroll through social media, matching your raw behind-the-scenes reality with other people's highly curated highlight reels. You look at your basic salary, your simple life, and you feel a sudden wave of bitter disappointment. But here is the real truth. Comparison completely blinds you to your own actual, beautiful, and progressive growth. Marcus Aurelius commanded, "Stop comparing your life to others. Focus entirely, relentlessly on your own unique path." A luxury car or perfect status cannot protect another person's soul from deep, painful, and permanent insecurity. When you compare your life to others, you act as a voluntary, fragile slave to external, unstable metrics. Your only legitimate, highly logical point of comparison is the person you were exactly 24 hours ago. If you are slightly wiser, slightly more disciplined, or more focused than yesterday, you are winning the race. Let us look at how this toxic comparison trap quietly destroys your inner development and character. You study philosophy, but then you see someone who looks wealthier, and you immediately feel inadequate. You stop your daily practice, fall into a state of self-pity, and completely halt your progress. Stop caring about their highlight reels. Put on your mental blinders and walk your own path. Practice a digital fast every single morning, completely avoiding all social feeds for 3 quiet, uninterrupted hours. Use this quiet, uninterrupted block to focus entirely on your own mind, your body, and your character. Let us uncover the ancient, forgotten Stoic secret to achieving absolute, instant, and permanent wealth. Most people believe that accumulating more physical possessions will finally secure their happiness and cure their deep anxieties. They trap themselves on a painful, endless treadmill of working to buy useless things to impress other people. Seneca observed that true wealth is never found in expanding your physical, material, and highly temporary possessions. Real luxury is found in ruthlessly minimizing and mastering your insatiable, primitive, and highly chaotic internal desires. When you want absolutely nothing, the outside world completely loses all chemical and psychological leverage over your life. You cannot be bribed, manipulated, or threatened with the sudden loss of fragile, hollow, and comfortable luxuries. Practice voluntary discomfort by choosing to live simply for a few days during every single month. Eat basic, cheap food. Wear simple clothing and ask yourself, is this the condition I truly feared? You will realize that your physical survival does not depend on expensive, modern, and fragile baseline comforts. The individual who actively needs the least is always the most powerful, sovereign, and untouchable ruler alive. Free your mind from the endless consumer trap and cultivate a quiet, deeply self-sufficient, and sturdy soul. True financial and mental freedom is having absolute, total mastery over your insatiable, primitive, and chemical desires. Let us look at the story of Diogenes, who chose absolute simplicity over the empty prestige of society. He owned nothing but a wooden cup, proving that freedom is found in shedding possessions, not hoarding them. Let us address the real root of your internal doubt, your complete and total lack of self-respect. You make solemn, heavy promises to yourself daily, only to break them at the first sign of struggle. This silent, personal betrayal slowly destroys your psychological confidence, leaving you feeling entirely weak and helpless. Real, unshakable confidence is never given to you. It is earned daily by keeping your word to yourself. When you say you will wake up early, train your body or study, execute without a second thought. Treat your personal promises to yourself as completely sacred, non-negotiable laws that you must never violate. When you execute your disciplines consistently, your subconscious mind naturally recognizes your growing, formidable, and quiet power. True self-esteem is the beautiful byproduct of keeping these small, daily, non-negotiable promises to your own mind. If a task hurts, feels incredibly boring, or makes you tired, lean into it with absolute discipline. This is how you forge an unshakable, highly resilient character that no external storm can ever break. Stop seeking validation from external sources and start earning your own deep, unyielding, and silent self-respect. Your time is running out. Choose to become a person you truly, deeply, and unconditionally respect today. Let us look at how the Stoics built this unshakable self-respect through daily, structured evening reviews. Before you close your eyes, audit your day. What did you do well and where did you fail? Be completely, brutally honest, adjust your strategy, and prepare your mind to conquer the next dawn. Let us examine the profound, ancient Stoic practice of loving your fate, known as amor fati. Most people complain bitterly when obstacles arise, begging the universe to grant them an easier, pain-free life. But the unshakable Stoic understands that smooth, peaceful seas have never created a highly skilled or resilient sailor. You must not merely tolerate your daily struggles, you must actively choose to fall in love with them. Every crisis, every setback, and every betrayal is actually fuel designed for your personal, ultimate, and deep evolution. Marcus Aurelius observed, "The obstacle in the path of your active execution eventually becomes the way forward. The roaring fire does not cry when cold, wet wood is thrown upon it. It consumes it and grows. Your life is the flame, and every heavy obstacle is just more wood to burn brighter and stronger." When you welcome struggles as necessary, vital training, you become completely, mathematically indestructible to external, volatile fate. Stop wishing for a comfortable, painless path and start wishing for exceptionally strong shoulders to bear it. This structural shift in perspective transforms you instantly from a helpless victim into an active, powerful, and unshakable conqueror. Your current difficult struggle is not designed to destroy you. It is designed to polish your internal character. Embrace the heavy, painful friction of life, of your fate, and turn adversity into your ultimate masterwork. Let us look at how the great Stoics welcomed their exile and political ruin as their ultimate training. Seneca was exiled to Corsica, yet he used those isolated years to write his most profound philosophical works. Let us address the absolute paralysis caused by your constant crippling fear of other people's judgment. You hold back your speech, delay your actions, and hide your brilliant talents to avoid being mocked. Epictetus taught that what truly blocks your life is never others' opinions, but your own mental assent. Realize that people are not thinking about you nearly as much as your insecure ego constantly believes. They are entirely consumed by their own internal wars, their own shallow, private anxieties and their doubts. Why willingly hand over the remote control of your happiness to people who do not even care? When you choose to value external, unstable opinions over your own self-respect, you become a voluntary slave. Put on your mental blinders, lock your gaze forward, and focus entirely on your own active growth. Declare your values, write your code, and speak your mind without begging for their fragile, temporary applause. If they laugh or judge your quiet progress, remember that their opinions belong entirely to column B. They are completely, absolutely outside your direct power. Therefore, they are absolutely nothing of value to you. Ground yourself deeply in your own self-worth and choose to remain completely unshakable in the fire. Look at the story of Socrates, who faced the ultimate test of death with absolute composure. He was unjustly sentenced to drink poison, yet he spent his final hours calmly teaching philosophy to friends. He proved that the unshakable mind can look at the ultimate terror of death and remain completely undisturbed. Let us master the unshakable principle of non-reaction, creating an impenetrable shield for your mind. When someone hurls a provocation at you, they are trying to gain direct administrative access to your thoughts. If you react with immediate anger or defensiveness, you are handing them the remote control of your emotions. Epictetus declared, "Any person who has the power to make you angry becomes your master and controller." To defeat this behavioral manipulation, you must build a wide, cold psychological space between stimulus and response. Do not agree with the raw chemical impulse to fight, flee, or scream in a desperate panic. Instead, step back into the quiet chambers of your own reason and analyze the trigger with absolute neutrality. Seneca advised that delay is the absolute greatest remedy for anger, letting the high-octane adrenaline completely subside. Meet their screaming hostility with an absolute, heavy, and silent mirror of unyielding, deep-seated internal self-respect. Your silent composure leaves them completely holding the burning, painful coal of their own toxic, useless rage. Let us look at how the great Stoics maintained this cold frame under the threat of execution. Epictetus was condemned by Nero, yet he poured libations with a calm smile, completely ignoring the tyrant. He proved that no external tyrant can ever break the sovereign freedom of a disciplined, unshakable mind. Guard your emotional border. Delay your responses and refuse to let the noise of others shake you. The most powerful move you can make is to remain completely, beautifully, and absolutely neutral under fire. Let us protect the sacred citadel of your focus by adopting the unyielding blinder frame. Your raw attention is the single most valuable, finite asset you currently possess in this modern world. Every notification, mindless digital scroll, and trivial rumor is actively stealing your vital, limited cognitive and life energy. Marcus Aurelius practiced putting on absolute mental blinders to shield his focus from the chaotic noise around him. He commanded himself to execute every single daily task as if it were his last on earth. When you fragment your attention, you willingly render your brain completely weak, unfocused, and highly ineffective. Reclaim your concentration, build deep focus blocks, and completely eliminate the toxic modern algorithms from your sight. True mental toughness is the absolute ability to stay locked onto your chosen, highly high-valued daily objectives. If you do not actively, ruthlessly guard your attention, the outside world will gladly consume your lifetime. Do not let cheap metrics or trivial digital feeds dictate your thoughts or trigger your daily emotions. Lock your eyes onto your unique path and work with quiet, relentless, and unshakable daily execution. Your precious time on earth is actively running out. Stop scattering your energy on things that matter. Stand tall like an ancient marble fortress and choose to conquer the difficult assignments in front of you. Deep focus is the absolute vehicle to true mastery, unshakable confidence, and profound, uncompromised internal growth. Master your daily attention, protect your inner fortress, and let the rest of the world scream. Let us dissect the massive, deceptive cultural lie that failure is your ultimate final defeat. The weak view a single misstep as a sign that they should permanently quit and remain forever safe. But the unshakable Stoic understands that every stumble is actually a masterclass in ultimate, profound human resilience. Failure is not the biological opposite of success. It is the raw, mandatory, and structural foundation of it. Every error you commit is diagnostic data, revealing exactly where your emotional and mental guard was weak. Marcus Aurelius observed with deep wisdom, the obstacle in the path of action eventually becomes the path itself. If you make an embarrassing mistake in your daily disciplines, do not shrink back in quiet shame. Welcome the correction, adapt your daily strategy immediately, and step right back into the fires of training. The only true, definitive failure in this universe is the choice to permanently stop taking action. Real, legendary champions are never those who never fall, but those who rise faster every single time. Use every stumble as raw, premium material to polish your internal character, your wisdom, and your grit. Your precious time on earth is actively running out. Do not waste it mourning temporary necessary setbacks. Stand tall like a monumental marble fortress and choose to conquer the difficult path of rapid growth. Let us look at the story of Zeno, who lost everything in a shipwreck before founding Stoicism. He famously declared, "My shipwreck was a prosperous voyage because it forced me to find true philosophy." Let us confront the silent, toxic enemy that whispers lies inside your mind daily: self-doubt. You paralyze your own active progress because you allow your thoughts to betray your unshakable inner potential. You tell yourself that you are not ready, not strong enough, or too weak to win today. Seneca observed that we suffer far more in our active, anxious imagination than in raw, physical reality. Your self-doubt is merely a projection of ancient, primitive survival fears, not objective, factual, or permanent truth. Break the loop of mental self-sabotage by choosing to speak to yourself with cold, objective reason. Treat your mind as a trusted, powerful ally, not as an eternal, critical adversary that destroys confidence. Action is the absolute, most powerful and immediate cure to the paralyzing disease of chronic self-doubt. Do not wait for complete confidence to begin. Unshakable confidence is only earned through continuous daily execution. Every progressive step you take forward weakens the fragile, lying voice of doubt inside your skull. Reclaim your focus, silence your inner critic, and step boldly into the active arena of your life. Your time is running out. Do not waste another precious second doubting your infinite capability to endure. Let us look at the story of Cato the Younger, who faced massive political defeat without doubting. He refused to compromise his principles for applause, choosing unyielding self-respect over the temporary safety of compliance. He proved that the unshakable mind can look at the collapse of an empire and remain unbroken. Every single time you break a promise to yourself, you actively chip away at your own foundation. You lose your inner confidence because your actions do not match the standard of discipline you openly speak. Rebuilding your self-respect requires you to execute the exact difficult task you swore you would do daily. When the alarm rings or the heavy, difficult study session begins, choose to act without a second thought. Do not negotiate with your lazy comfort. Treat your commitments as completely sacred, non-negotiable, and ultimate laws. Self-respect is never a cheap gift from others. It is earned through private, silent, and daily victories. When you value your own word, you no longer need public applause to feel secure, confident, and powerful. Become completely self-sufficient, standing strong, serene, and absolutely independent of what the chaotic crowd thinks. Guard your character above all material wealth, status, or temporary hollow and fragile external public praise. Internal character is the only possession that death cannot steal, ruin, or strip away from you. We now reach the final, ultimate summation of our long journey into the unshakable, permanent inner citadel. Clean your mirror, discard the toxic complaints, and silence your critical inner voice starting from today. Realize that your precious time is actively ticking away with every single breath you take right now. Do not postpone your greatness for a tomorrow that is never truly mathematically guaranteed to arrive. Master your own mind, or let the chaotic external world master it for you. Stay steady, stay unshakable.